Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you another video. All right, jumping straight into the Laker video, man. I did a therapy session about a minute ago, and now I'm jumping into what is going to be the second tournament game for our LA Lakers. The Memphis Grizzlies are coming to town. We're going to have our black jerseys on, the new city jerseys, and we're going to have our yellow and purple floor that is exclusive for the tournament, the very first alternate floor the Los Angeles Lakers have had in the modern era, maybe even ever. I like the floor a lot. I think it's probably the best one of the tournament floors, to be honest with you. I really just love it to no end. I grew up on the colors. It brings forth a happiness in me when I see those colors. So having it on the floor in the way that it is, I think the yellow offsets what would otherwise be hardwood anyway. It's just a few shades darker than hardwood, so it's not like it's hard on the eyes, I don't believe, especially with the black jerseys and the white jerseys that are ultimately going to be worn by the Memphis Grizzlies. So this is going to be an interesting night because from what I understand, Bron and AD both are game time decisions. I don't see any path to them not playing this game. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a tournament game. And this is a big stage for superstars. They're going to want to be there. If Bron's not completely in pain, he's playing. That's what my gut is telling me. But this thing is saying game time decision. But I think he's playing. And AD, I expect to play. He played in the last one. There's no reason for them to miss this game. If they're going to miss any game, it'll be tomorrow's, which ain't a tournament game since it's a back-to-back against the Sacramento Kings. And that would be the game that one of them is going to miss, if you ask me. They both playing tonight. And that's what my gut's telling me, but I'm almost damn certain they're going to play tonight. Now, we got some good news on Jared Vanderbilt. He has been cleared for basketball duties once again after being out all season long with a heel. He hasn't played since like the second preseason game and is available to practice. That does not mean he's ready to play. He's not. He probably won't be ready for another week or two, but at least we can get him back in the swing of things because he don't have to sit no more. So that's what's happening now. No Vando tonight, but he'll be back pretty soon. Jalen Hood-Schifino still out. Gabe Vincent still out. And that is the injury report there. Of course, the Memphis Grizzlies don't have John Morant. He's going to be out for another probably about 17 games, something like that. He's still got a long way to go. Jake LaRavia is expected to be out. Derrick Rose, I believe, is a game-time decision. Xavier Tillman, I believe, is a game-time decision. I think that's how that went. I haven't looked at their injury report in a couple hours. But that's what I remember from it. But they got some good players down there, man. Their bench got Santi Saldama as a player who plays well, can stretch the floor, do some good things. David Roddy's down there. Got to watch out for him. They got who's coming off a really big game, Bismack Biyombo is who's playing back center. I don't know if he's backup center or if they got him playing next to Jaren Jackson, who's now playing the 4. I think that's how they're doing it. Of course, you got to watch out for who else is on that team. Desmond Bane is a fantastic player right now. He's playing all-star ball on a bad basketball team, shooting the lights out. The offense is basically his since they don't have a whole lot down there. So you got to watch out for him. Who's that shooter that they got from the Clippers? I can't think of his name. Caucasian guy. It'll come to me in a minute, but he was 4 for 5 in the last game. You got to watch out for him. He's definitely going to be coming in hot, given the fact that he played so well in the last game. And, of course, they got Marcus Smart playing point guard for them, man. Marcus Smart making hustle plays, getting assists off. Just ultimately supporting his basketball team to the best ability he has. David Roddy is down there as well, playing defense, getting better. A very talented young player who's just moving along. They got a short guy, Gilliard, something Gilliard. I don't know what his name is, but he's like my height, like 5'8", 5'9". And they're giving him a lot of minutes, man. And, of course, you got to deal with who they refuse to play. I just wish they would trade this man. Kenny Lofton Jr., who we know is a baller. If you put him on the floor, he's unguardable. It's the biggest confusion thing for me in the world is him not playing him. I'm so confused by them not playing him. He's arguably their third best player on the whole damn team. If you ask me, every time he plays, he does big things. He can shoot the ball. He's about 1 million pounds. He can't be guarded. He makes plays for others. He's not slow despite being big and heavy. And they just refuse to play him. And they have a 2-8 record. Make it make sense, coach. Make it make sense. Why do you refuse to play this kid? I don't know, but if you put him on the Lakers, I promise you he'll help us in ways that we really need. So if I were a GM in this league, I would get that player off of their team because I already know what he can do. He's a very, very talented player. Probably one of the better power forwards coming off of anybody's bench anywhere in the league, and they ain't playing him. They don't want to play him, and it angers me to no end because I know how good he is. And so, yeah, don't expect to see Kenny Lofton. They being stupid, and they ain't gonna play him, and they gonna lose because of it. So that's kind of how that goes. Of course, Jaren Jackson, you got to respect Jaren Jackson. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. Usually starts the season hurt, but he did not start this year hurt. But his team ain't no good, so it is what it is. But you still got to respect his ability to block shots and stretch the floor and do jump hooks and stuff like that. He could dunk the ball some and all of that. Not overly athletic in my opinion, but definitely somebody who's going to affect the floor in a very major way. And given the fact that they're potentially down another center, him and Bismack Biyombo are going to be the guys that you have to watch out for. So yeah, they do have a talented team. I don't think they are their record. They're obviously missing their superstar John Morant and a couple other real key guys. And given the fact that Derrick Rose ain't out there, you're just going to see a whole lot of the Gilliard dude, a whole lot of Marcus Smart playing the guard, a whole lot of David Roddy. Maybe Derrick plays. Don't get it twisted. He's not out. He's just a game time decision. And since it's a play-in tournament game, or in-season tournament game, you may see Derrick Rose out there. And you know he can give them a hell of a boost off the bench, to say the least. He's one of the best players ever, in my humble opinion. And injuries just kind of robbed him of his ability. But he can still help a team, and that's why he's still in the league. And so, they got some dudes, man. I wish that center, I already said his name in this video, but my mind's gone blank on a couple of names on that team. But they do have a center that they use, power forward combination that makes plays for others, rebounds the ball, usually gives us hell when we see him, Xavier Tillman. So if he does give it a go, he makes them significantly better in my humble opinion. He's a load, man. And because he passes the rock, because he does offensive rebounds, stuff like that, he's a heavy guy that we're gonna have trouble matching up with if they want to use Bismack Biyombo and Jaren Jackson. He's probably why they don't play Kenny Lofton very much, but I don't think that's an excuse. Kenny Lofton would be in regular rotation. He's better than Santi Saldama. He's better than Jake LaRavia. He's better than dudes. I'm telling y'all, it's one of the biggest mysteries in the league for me is why the hell the Memphis Grizzlies, while sucking so bad, don't use one of their very best players ever. They never use him. So it is what it is, man. I'm just a massive believer in that massive player, and I'll be very happy if they don't use him tonight. So this is one of those situations where, the Memphis Grizzlies are not a good team, but they are coming off a win against the lowly Clippers. The Clippers are good without James Harden. You put them on a team and they're the worst team in the league. That's basically what it is. It ain't deeper than that. They just suck so bad with James Harden down there, and going up against the Memphis Grizzlies was just a new low for them. The Memphis Grizzlies came into that game 1-8, and they couldn't do nothing against the Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies, it wasn't like the Grizzlies were playing great ball either. From what I understand, they didn't ball out. They had some really cold players down there and still managed to get the victory. So, I don't think that's a great measuring stick for what the Memphis Grizzlies are going to do to us, because the Clippers can't seem to get their offense or their defense together. So, just two bad teams going up against each other, and the Memphis Grizzlies happen to win it. Going up against us, we're going to have to understand that because they have so much size down there, Bismack Biyombo had a fantastic game against Zubac. That momentum's going to come in, and because it's a tournament game, they're going to come in with a lot more energy and more intensity and intent on winning it. Guys like Desmond Bane may go for 50 points tonight. That's just how this goes. And because he's on such a streak and is playing so well and is the only real offensive talent on the floor, to be honest, we gotta keep an eye on him. Double him if you have to. Treat him like he's an MVP candidate, because to be honest with you, if his team was any good, he probably would be. Shoots a three as well as anybody in the game. Shoots free throws very well. Massive body. I call him Buff Reggie Miller. And he's on a tear. I think he's averaging like 26, 27 points a game, man. So he's like basically the new Bradley Beal, if you ask me, but bigger. And you just got to watch out for him at all times, because he's going to have the ball in his hands quite a bit, looking to score. And that's really what it comes down to. You just understand him as to be the superstar on the floor for their team. Although Jaren Jackson is considered a bigger star, not on the offensive end, not by a long shot right now. So that's who you got to worry about. David Roddy, not the greatest shooter in the world, but definitely somebody who could slash to the rim, create contact in the paint, stuff like that. He's a headache. David Roddy can do some really good things for his team. And Marcus Smart, man, they got big defensive dudes. That's what you got to understand. When you talk about Xavier Tillman, Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson, David Roddy, These are guys playing defense, man. They playing defense, and they playing at a very high level. Jaren Jackson and Marcus Smart alone, those are two of the best defensive players in the world. You know, I think both of them have won Defensive Player of the Year over the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. I know Marcus Smart has, and I think Jaren Jackson may have. So you got to understand that even though they are quote-unquote a bad team, they have heavy bodies on the floor. So if you want to do small ball and run people that are 20 pounds lighter than them, you're going to get beat. It's just how that goes. Do not trust their record. They won their last game against some Hall of Famers who ain't playing well, but still Hall of Famers. So you got to respect that. On the road at that. The last game was at Staples. This one will also be at Crypto. Same thing, same difference. But that's what I'm here to tell y'all, man. Bismack Biyombo had a double-double, bunch of blocks. You know, that kind of thing. Really big numbers for him. And you know, Jaren Jackson didn't play well, so I'd imagine Jaren's going to want to shoot better in this game. And like I said, their shooter, God, I just had his name in my head, and it disappeared as quick as it came. 4 or 5 coming off their bench. I can't believe that just happened. Boom, boom, name just disappeared. But nevertheless, yeah, man, I hate these long silences. I want to do that. Never, but unfortunately, his name just came to me and left, and I wanted to be said. But nevertheless, man, we'll know it tonight. They got shooters. Bottom line is what I'm telling you. Between him and Desmond Bane, they could hit like 6 or 7 threes apiece. So do not guard the perimeter. Offensive rebounds going to be important against these big bodies, Bismack, Jaren Jackson. If you don't crash the boards like we did against Portland Trail Blazers, we are going to have a bad night. We did rebound the ball a lot better against the Blazers. I think we limited them to 5 offensive rebounds, which is a stat I'm paying very close attention to. Of course, you got to mention how well Anthony Davis has been playing. He's been on a tear since the start of the season, both defense, offense, and rebound. He's just basically an MVP candidate, and I don't think people really realize it. He's only missed 1 game of the season, even though a lot has been said about him missing that game. At the end of the day, it was only 1 game. And so, and in the game where he had less than 20 points, he was 8-8 from the free throw line. So Anthony Davis is your leading player right now, with LeBron James kind of not feeling his best, having tweaked something. I don't know what I think it was a shin that he got kicked or something. I don't know what was going on with Bron, but he missed the last game, and we were able to weather the storm against a shorthanded Blazer team that we were happy to beat. Cam Reddish is on a tear right now, playing great ball on both sides of the floor as well, hitting his 3, getting steals, rebounding the ball. He had like 2 assists. He's just really playing well right now, so I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. And with Rui Hachimura back in the fold, also playing well. He's found his efficiency after being cold to start the season, and hurt to start the season. We'd love to have Rui back. Of course, without Bron, he was in the starting lineup, so that provided more production than we would expect tonight if Bron goes. But Rui looked great in that starting lineup, so did Cam Reddish. So if those two can continue to help us on the offensive end, we know their defense will be there, and that'll be very difficult to deal with for the Memphis Grizzlies. Austin Reeves is starting to find his way. After having an abysmal start to this season, he's slowly but surely finding his confidence. We brought him off the bench over the last 2 games, and he's played great off of the bench, giving us 18 points in the last one, hit a couple threes. So he's coming along. I think he's very comfortable coming off the bench. He seems very supportive of the team starting Cam Reddish. I think Austin just gets it, to be honest with you. So it doesn't matter if he's coming off the bench or starting. He's going to give you his best, and I think for this year's team, he probably is best coming off the bench, because he and D'Angelo Russell kind of shouldn't be playing together a good portion of the time, if you ask me. Definitely not starting basketball games. Neither one of them particularly defend great against athletes, and a lot of teams have athletes in their starting lineup. They both tend to need the ball to make plays for others and make plays for themselves, so it doesn't really work on the offensive end very much either. So it's probably best to just stagger them. And in doing so, we found that Cam Reddish really helps us defensively, and he kind of fits a little bigger body that we can help kind of weather the storm against, instead of using those 2 guys who are sliding in size and slide on the defensive end to a degree. So I'd like what we're doing there with that starting lineup changing, with Austin coming off the bench. We're just getting better out of both him and D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo's been shooting the ball well. I think his last game was one of the best we had seen him make plays for others. With LeBron not being on the floor, he was just really, really good at getting in a rhythm for making plays for others. I thought he made people better in that last game, and I hope to see that carry over into this one. Continue to work on his playmaking gift, because it really does help our team. when he's in a rhythm that way. And it opens up his shooting and offensive rhythm as well, as I saw. So, it's a lot of good down there against the Portland Trail Blazers. Even though we didn't play our greatest game, I thought we kind of limited some of our weaknesses, particularly rebounding the ball, against a very good front court. So hopefully tonight, going up against yet another very good front court, defensive front court, we can have some good stuff. That's why it's so important that Anthony Davis play tonight, because if we don't have him down there, we're not at an advantage. Not going up against Jaren Jackson, Bismack Biyombo. Those are two very good defensive guys. We're going to need a great offensive talent to go against them, so that they're not parking in the paint and blocking shots. And that is exactly what you can expect. They're going to block shots tonight. We know we got a hell of a team, but we got to be very careful not to disrespect the fact that they got 2 shot blockers in their starting lineup. And if Xavier Tillman plays, that's 3, because he does block shots too. So we just got to understand it's going to be a block party tonight. Jaren Jackson could get anywhere from 3 to 7 blocks, and we know that. So don't play around with him. Guys like D'Lo Russell, be ready for your teardrop. Austin Reeves, be ready for your teardrop. Cam Reddish, don't be driving at the rim thinking you dunking on those dudes, that kind of thing. Those guys are very, very capable of blocking shots, and they're both in a good rhythm. But particularly Bismack Biyombo, coming off a fantastic game, maybe the best he's had in years. So, that's what it is, man. A lot of people think we should have signed Bismack Biyombo. When you look at what he's doing for the Memphis Grizzlies, maybe we would be best if we had him on our team. I think that's something to think about. But what I can say is I do appreciate Christian Wood and what he can do for our basketball team when he's focusing into it. And much has been said about how he played against the Rockets, where he only attempted 1 shot. Anthony Davis didn't play. Still kind of a head scratcher for me. Hopefully we can get him into a rhythm to show his best self tonight, where he will be needed with his length next to AD. Hopefully he'll play. With Rui Hachimura coming back into the fold, kind of take some things away from Christian Wood. So we got to find ways of getting him incorporated so that he can do his thing offensively and really take advantage of that talent of his. So that's really what it is, man. Max Christie did some good things defensively. I'm still kind of wondering where he's going to fit in on the team, given the fact that we do have some other ball handlers, players coming back later on into rotation after being injured. I don't know where Max is going to fit in, but he definitely did some good things defensively against the Portland Trail Blazers. His biggest deficiency for me is just his passing. It's not that he's not a willing passer, he's just no good at it. If I'm being completely honest with you, he's one of the worst passers I've ever seen on a Laker uniform. Max Christie just sucks at it. He's not selfish. He just, most of the passes he makes are just way off target. So that's his real weakness, but hopefully we can continue to have him get reps in practice, because he really does like to make plays for others. He just needs to become much more of an accurate and timely passer. So I'm sure he'll work on that. He's still a young player. We're not worried, but it is a real deficiency, a real one. And it's not one you see very often from players, but he just does not make accurate passes at all. But it is what it is, man. Everything else he does defensively looks great, and when he's in his rhythm, he can shoot. Hopefully his shot can start coming around this season when he does play, get the rhythm that he needs, so he can really be a scorer and an athlete and out there for us on both sides of the floor, because as he develops, that's exactly what he's going to be. He's going to be a hell of a weapon. But I just wonder for the time being if he's going to continue to be such a bad passer. So that's my thing on Max Christie. And yeah, man, we got a nice little couple wins in a row there, man. Well, we've beaten some teams that we would expect to beat. I guess the Phoenix Suns were a team that we've had success against this season. Twice we've beat them. And of course, they didn't have their 3 stars out there in either one of those games, so you can't really beat your chest when talking about beating depleted teams. The Portland Trail Blazers depleted, missing half of their basically their whole backcourt is missing, so can't feel too good about saying that you beat the Portland Trail Blazers. But we did get victories, 2 victories in a row, and we feel good about that going into this game against a bad record Memphis team that I expect to play better than their record tonight, especially since it's a tournament game. But the floor is ours, the atmosphere is ours. We got the new jerseys, new floors. I just expect for the Lakers to show up and show out, and I don't want any blemishes on what it is that's been good momentum for us, especially coming from guys like Cam Reddish and Austin Reeves, who are playing so much better this week than they have pretty much all season. And so that's really where my head is at, man. I'm excited about this game. I'm excited about the whole ambiance and how we're going to have that floor down there. And we did win our first tournament game. We're 1-0 in tournament play. And understand, everyone needs to understand, point differential in the tournament matters. So if you see your team calling a timeout, up by 3 or down, up by 7, and trying to get a last second shot even though they're winning or losing or whatever. That stuff matters in the tournament, man. It don't matter in regular season, but how much you win by and your point total as a whole definitely will determine tiebreaker circumstances. So I know people were kind of confused at why whoever that was that we played against, the Phoenix Suns, called a timeout with like 1 second to go when they were down just to shoot a 3. But that is why, because your point matters. So do keep that in mind as you watch tournament play. It's just different rules, man. We got to learn them. So that's really what it is, man. Game 2 of the tournament for the Lakers, man. We up 1-0. We want to win our division. We feel like we can with Portland and Phoenix and Memphis being a part of that division. Those are teams that we expect to beat. Hopefully we can set a tone for the Memphis Grizzlies tonight and get a good win so that we can have some rest for tomorrow night's game against the Sacramento Kings. Back-to-backs are very dangerous for us, given the fact that we got this older core and injury-prone circumstances, given the fact that half of our team has been hurt already this year and still missing a third of them. So we do want a big win tonight. We don't want to go into overtime. We don't want no funny business, nothing like that. We want this game to be over by the third quarter, if at all possible, given the fact that this is such a limited Memphis basketball team. But the way that we've been playing, sometimes we play down to the level of the opponent, etc., etc. One can expect it could be an interesting night just the same. But what I will say is we better get out to a good start. I'm sick of this bad start, first quarter woes, Laker nonsense, man. We have got to be a better first quarter team than we've shown over the past 10 games or whatever it's been. We're the worst first quarter team in the history of the sport, and to be honest with you, I don't think we did a whole lot to fix that over the last 2 or 3 games, even though we've won. So we got to get it together, man. Better starts. Hopefully it changes in the starting lineup can help with that, and hopefully we can get a really good victory against a Memphis Grizzlies team tonight at 7:30 Pacific time. So that's what I got to say, man. BDF 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.